My name's Sam Ovett, and we are here with Luke. Luke, how do you say your last name?
Stiers.
Stiers, Luke Stiers. And Luke has recently earned his Eagle Scout, so big congratulations to you, Luke.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, is in order. And we're going to ask Luke a couple questions about earning Eagle Scout and what it was like for him. So we'll jump right in. Luke, what was the easiest part about earning your Eagle Scout rank through going through the process? It's a long process because it starts really when you first enter Scouts. So, but as you were leading up into the final period where you're getting close to turning 18 and finishing the final requirements, what was the easiest part about it?
I would say the easiest part is, I think that the part that was easiest for me was leading the kids, and the reason why was because I went to camps like NYLT,
Right.
and I was SPL for a while, so that really helped with the leadership. That I felt like I was already not, I haven't mastered yet. I still have much to learn about it, but it helped a lot with leading my Eagle Scout project and sometimes showing initiative with leaders if I needed help, I
Oh, cool.
guess.
So the actual leadership part inside the troop was the part that felt easiest for you in general and most fluid. So let's talk about the next piece. That's cool to hear. And you're right, everybody, we've all got, work to do in terms of leadership and mastering leadership. It's for me, it's always been an ongoing process. Um,
Yeah.
as far as challenges, there's a lot of obstacles and challenges to overcome to earn Eagle, and I think that's part of doing it. I know the video is lagging here a little bit. Um,
No, you're good.
um, but in the final, I'll call it the final push from Life Scout to Eagle Scout, what was the biggest challenges you faced there? They could be, you know, like your own challenges that you had as far as thinking about it, and if maybe I don't know. I don't want to. You tell me what it was, or was it whether it was adult leaders or what? Who knows? It's different for everybody. Everybody seems to have a couple little challenges that they overcome right towards the end, and you may have none. For all I know.
Um, I think I had two big challenges or hills that I had to overcome.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Hills to overcome.
One of them was just the time period because I was turning 18 in April, so that was one of the big ones
Yeah.
that I had. The second one would have been all these like it kind of they kind of put you out there and they give you a workbook to go through and that's really helpful and everything, but they don't it's kind of like they don't really point you in a very specific direction you're going, so there's like a lot of distractions, kind of like, oh, I got to do this, and almost Eagle, it really helped me out with eliminating all those different distractions and focusing and putting them in order of what was most important to finish off and what was easiest.
Oh, nice. That's cool to hear, and I think that's the reason. And we'll get into Almost Eagle here in a second and what that is. And it's, I think that's cool for me to hear. That's cool that one of the big things it solved is really helping you focus in on what had to happen. And it sounds like, and I'm just clarifying, that you're able to get rid of the clutter, like get rid of everything else that wasn't important and
Yeah.
say, okay, these are my, I call them big rocks, right? Like these are my big rocks. If I get these done, everything else will fall in place. Just like, have you ever heard the story? And you can try this. It's a good thing. It's a fun leadership example. But you take a mug or a cup, for example. Here, you take a cup, and you take big rocks, pebbles, and sand. If you put big rocks in first, then you can put pebbles in. They'll fall around the big rocks, and then you can put sand in, and that'll fill in all the little gaps.
Oh yes, I see.
But if you put sand in first and then pebbles, there's no space for the big rocks to fit all the way in.
Oh, that, yeah, I see what you mean.
Does that make
That's
sense?
a really good analogy. Yeah.
Yeah, so the idea, right? So that's really cool to hear that you were able to accomplish your big rocks, basically, is how I would say it. And it's cool to hear you say that and realize that. So that's awesome, man. Good job.
Thank you.
As far as the Almost Eagle program, since you had access to it, and what the Almost Eagle program is it's to help a program that I put together to help scouts, for everybody who's listening, overcome the final hills to reach Eagle, right when you're getting close and you want to finish up from Life Scout to Eagle Scout, and let's say you're close to your 18th birthday, it helps you really focus in, just like Luke said, on those important things and clarify. What about that program, Luke, was beneficial for you? Because everybody comes in and is able to utilize that, I'll just call it a knowledge base, right? It's just a set of tools and some videos that I've put together to help you focus in. But what about it was most beneficial for you? Because I think everybody gets a little bit different pieces out of it that they really value.
Yes, I believe the most beneficial part for me was the start where it was motivating you. That was probably the part that I used the most, because it was what month was it? Like February or
Yeah, it was February, and your birthday, your 18th birthday was when? It was in.
it was April 20th.
So you had February, March.
About 1 month to finish an Eagle Scout project.
Yeah. and where? How much? Let's tell everybody how much you had to finish before when you started, when you had access to Almost Eagle. You know, this isn't the only thing that helped you. There's a lot of other things I'm sure that helped you. This is just one component, but what all did you have to finish when you got access to it? Do you remember?
I had a few merit badges. I believe it was like 3 merit badges.
Yeah.
Then just the entire Eagle Scout project.
Right. You had to. Did you have a? You didn't have a project approved yet, did you? You had to put it
no,
together.
sir, I did not.
Did you have to find one? Remind everyone. Did you have to find one, or did you already have one?
Find what?
Did you have a project in mind, or did you have to come up with one?
Yeah, I actually I had a project all set and everything, and then it turned out, hey, I probably won't be able to complete that in a month, so I had to change. I already had a workbook filled out for it and everything,
Right.
and I had to go back, redo a workbook.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome though. So you actually retooled what you're going to do for the project and picked something that could fit in that time frame better, so you could accomplish it.
Yes, sir.
That was smart. That's really smart. All right, so that's cool. We learned that. That's cool to hear that your main takeaway from the Almost Eagle was the really motivational videos to get you pumped up and focused and help you clarify things at the beginning, because there's a lot of technical videos in there to help people like scouts who are needing to work through certain details. But to hear that motivational stuff kept you focused and helped you declutter and hone in on what had to happen, you know, that's huge. So nice work, man.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up with one more question here for Luke. Luke, if you could give a piece of advice to Life Scouts that are working on their Eagle Scout rank, what would it be? And this could be like advice that you would give yourself, or you know, yourself 6 months previously, or any scout. What kind of advice would you give them? What would you share with them that you think would be super helpful?
I probably have like 2 answers for this.
Yeah, definitely. You don't have to have a one-liner.
All right. One of them is they need to understand that for most people, the workbook and all the paperwork is going to be the roughest part.
The workbook and all the paperwork. Why? Yeah. Well, I'll let you finish and then I'll ask some questions.
All right. And that's probably most likely going to be the roughest part, but you got to know that as soon as you get over that, Eagle Scout is just awesome to get. And I remember I got it and I was like I was excited and everything.
Yeah.
And I didn't really feel much accomplishment until I was at summer camp and they said, all right, raise your hand if you're an Eagle Scout. And then I felt so accomplished after that. Like, that's when I really felt rewarded. But that's one of my advice, is to get through all the paperwork, and that's going to be probably one of the rougher parts, but it's worth it. The second part.
Let me ask you a question on that before you move on to the second part. Was it harder or easier once you actually got into it and started doing it than you thought it would be, or was it what you expected?
Well, when I was Life Scout and I decided to go in, I was like, all right, here, I'm going to start on my Eagle Scout.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how much paperwork was involved. That was definitely one of the things I didn't realize. But once I got through it, it started getting routine.
Right.
But, all right, I'm gonna knock out this. Next day, I'm gonna knock out this. And one of the strategies I use is I would use my phone
Yeah.
and I would say it into my phone, and that made it a lot easier.
Oh, nice. Versus opening it up, logging in, sitting down at the computer, and then, like, sometimes I know when I have to fill stuff out, I'll sit down on the computer and I will be. It's easier for me to like walk around and put stuff in on my phone. I think better. It's faster. And sometimes I sit on my computer and I'm like just like my brain's not working.
Yes.
Did you have that same thing a bit?
Mhm.
And so so you used a tool that you had to make it a more speedy and enjoyable process. It sounds like your phone being that tool.
Yes, sir.
Nice. Okay, so jump in. I'm curious to hear what the second piece of advice that you would give to other scouts is.
My second piece of advice is look where you are now that you're a Life Scout, and look at how much time you have left until you're 18. And you don't want to push it all the way up until you're 18 like I did. But if you're like, I would say if you're like 13 and you have your Life Scout, I wouldn't say jump right into it, because that way you don't really experience scouting, because you might want to be done right after you're an Eagle Scout.
Right, right. And would you say there's a lot of value that you get out of it, like in going through scouting over the period? Like Eagle Scout is a great way to cap it off and say you have that earned sort of, we'll call it a credential, so to speak. But what's behind that is for me, it was all the experience, leading others and even following others and learning from others and teaching others that you get from scouting and the different obstacles that you do overcome. Would you say that was similar for you?
Oh, yeah, that's 100%. Yeah, I agree with you there.
Nice. Okay, cool. That's good to know. And I think that's good for people to hear too, other scouts, because um, being an Eagle Scout isn't all about just earning that badge, right? It's
Yeah.
about everything that's behind it, but you do have to actually finish everything to earn it.
Yes, I agree. It's when I look back at my Eagle Scout, I don't really think about, I mean, I think a little bit about the Eagle Scout project and everything, but what I really look back at is like all the fun campouts I had
Right.
and all the fun trips.
Oh, that's
So, yeah.
awesome, man. Well, cool. Well, keep. I'm sure this is just the beginning of many accomplishments for you, and
Thank you very much.
and opportunities to lead others. So well done again to you, Luke, and everybody who's listening. You'll know that you too can get out there and make it happen, even if you're close. Even if you're close to 18 and you're not sure. Luke's an example of someone who got really focused on what he had to do, got rid of the clutter, and finished
Yes.
and capped it off and was able to say, you know what, I did it, I earned it. So, all right, good
Thank you.
stuff.